the only thing that stands between a worker and $8 an hour from a corporation is the union movement.
Stand up, fight back! Stand up, fight back!
We're filthy about it, and so should all of you.
The workers, united, will never be defeated.
You think we've organised now? You ain't seen nothing yet. We're a country that have always relied on ships. We're a country that is the fourth largest user of ships in the world. Only three countries use ships more than us. That's the US, China and Japan. We are a country that if we don't export and we don't import, we have no quality of life. That will never change. We're a country where shipping is an integral part of the domestic transport chain. It complements rail, it complements road, it never leaves Australian territory, it goes from port to port, and for 100 years it enjoyed the bipartisan support of both sides of Parliament that it was an essential industry upon which the economic and political fortunes of the country stood going forward. And when the Portland came in here 28 years ago, I was a young seafarer of 32, I had believed and had a belief, like these guys here, that we were not only building our own families' securement, we were not only educating our children, we're not only building homes, and I had 3 little children in those days. I was not only securing the health, I was also securing the economic and political future of this country. I was proud to be a seafarer. We're standing here at a time that is a memorial to the great seafaring traditions. 1 in 8 Australian seafarers died in the Second World War in Australian waters. Australia has always relied on the courage, determination and professionalism of their seafarers to secure what we believe to be the best elements of Australia today. Australian seafaring is just as important to the consciousness and the belief and the self-esteem of Australians as the Anzac tradition or any other single thing. Australian seafaring stands for who we are: strong, independent, safe, community-minded, that we work together in teams, that we take on great danger and survive, that we bury our own and don't forget them, that we remember who we are and what we stand for. This is being taken away when you see that ship there now, a flag of convenience ship registered in the Bahamas for no other reason than to avoid taxation, exploiting third world seafarers for no other reason that you can. A ship, that stands for the worst types of exploitation in the world today. And in this country we talk about security, we talk about emotional security, we talk about defence security, we talk about economic and political security. Every these Australian seafarers young, look at the age of them. Except for you, Kiwi. Look at the age of them, that they have a future, that they were secured by the fact, and this country has been secured by the fact that each of these individuals have been screened for security reasons, because it's so important to our country, we're told by Mr Turnbull and by Mr Abbott and by Mr Howard, that we have to secure ourselves at a time of great danger, at a time of great threat, that we need to secure our own backyard against terrorism. It is a constant political and media theme that scares us and our children 24/7. And so we were secure in our own country, in our own industry, moving cargo between Australian ports by professional seafarers that took on the great dangers, and they were removed at 1 o'clock in the morning as part of a conspiracy between a multinational, a federal government and related parties, lawyers, all of them, AMSA, the Australian Maritime Safety Authority, immigration, customs and immigration, that every one of those people that were part of this conspiracy to take away what is an Australian industry, an Australian right, an Australian past and an Australian future are going to be held to account. If Australians can't lay in their bed, in their home, and I can assure you as a seafarer, when you're on that ship, it is your home. That is your home. That is your bed. That is your private place. That is your place of security and protection in a world of bad seas and of danger. Every time you go out there, you have a home. And you are in your bed, in your home, in your country, in your workplace, in your job. And that people can be conspiring, a conspiracy can deliver the exploitation of these seafarers that have been imported into the country illegally, we believe, that have been escorted inside of this multinational leasehold, that have been brought up the gangway by what is just amounts to thuggery, bullying and harassment that would not be acceptable to any Australian in any home or any workforce, and taken out of your bunk, taken out of your home and your bed, and deposited on the outside at 1:30 in the morning in the cold with no future and shock. And you say, that is the country we want to live in? No! Well, we're going to do something about it. We have to do something about it. We can't allow that level of bullying. See, in the world today, last week, 66 people control the same wealth as half the population of the world. This is an elitism of power and privilege that goes far beyond this crew. This is a changing of the guard. We're going to determine the sort of country we want to live in. We want to determine the sort of government we want to vote in. We want to determine the sort of workplace we have. We want to determine the sorts of futures we want to have for our children running around here. We want to determine who we are and what we believe in. And the fight back starts here. In Portland, you should be proud. Thank you to the Labor Council. Thank you to the unions. Thank you to the community. Thank you for all of those people that can see the malevolence, the great malevolence that sits behind what has happened here and sits behind the exploitation of those seafarers over there that have taken those Australian jobs away. Well, let's go down to Canberra and let's draw a line underneath the Portland Five, and more than the Portland Five. But they were the guys that were ripped out of their homes, that have had their lives shattered, that were brutalised in a way that is not acceptable. And they will become the face, like Portland will. Portland will become the word on everybody's lips. Not another Portland. No to Portland. No to the sorts of leadership and political elitism that sits behind that. No to the conspiracy. No to the tax evasion. No to the exploitation of workers. And yes to our future as an Australian country for every Australian. Just not for the strong. Just not for the wealthy. Just not for the multinationals. An Australian for everyone, the weak and the strong, the poor as well as the rich, the unemployed as well as the employed. That's the Australia that built this industry. That's the Australia that secures the industry, that secures our jobs and our livelihood. And we'll be going to Canberra with your spirit, the spirit of the Portland, and translate that into the Australia not only that we should live in, the sort of Australia we deserve to live in. So let's go there together. Thank you very much, brothers and sisters.